Okay, going live now.
All right. If you have to.
Pulling up the press bees on the Twitches. Says we
Game
are
of the
live
year
now.
88. I see us.
I'm gonna try something new this time. I'm gonna tweet us out. Just see if that makes any difference.
I hear us.
I hear us too. They don't see us on the Twitches. There we are. Okay.
Hello, Sinstress.
We are on the Twitchers. We are on the YouTubes. There is a Sinstress here. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. We gotta fucking do some goddamn RMH.
I don't know. That was 7 seconds.
That was
Sorry,
7
YouTube.
seconds.
It's like 2 minutes, dude.
Is it 2 minutes?
I thought it was 7
It's
seconds.
like a minute or two.
I think
got
the
7
swearing
seconds to not
is like
cuss in the
7
stream.
seconds. Like as long as you don't say the MFer in 7 seconds, you're okay. I think is what it was. I don't know.
Oh, good. That's the exact word I used. Fantastic. Demonetized.
Oh,
Demonetized. Not that
good
we're
job.
monetized.
Yeah, true.
The dream is dead. Now we're never gonna get monetized. We're in YouTube jail.
You guys should have known that when you hired me. It wasn't a secret.
Wait, are you getting paid?
You're not?
Yeah, right. We're all rolling that podcast money.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I have a contract.
Yeah, that fat podcast money.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's only 2 podcasts in this world that make money.
Yeah, Joe Rogan and then Hawk Tua.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Talk Tua.
It's just I can't believe I mean all the power, get that bag, but holy crap, of all the successful podcasts, really? That?
Yep.
But yay.
All righty.
Oh, hold on one sec.
You guys ready?
Nope.
Apparently not.
Nope.
Apparently you should have hung out a little longer.
Hello, Jeff.
All right. Now we're ready. Whenever you want.
Are we ready now?
All
Are we
right.
ready now?
The juiciest games to play from 1988. Today on. Now look what you
Beetlejuice over.
talked over the
Summon
intro.
a demon
You
over
all
the
over the intro. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Press B to Cancel. Today we're talking about the best games of 1988. Spoiler, I don't think Beetlejuice made anybody's picks tonight.
Nope.
But he can hang out in the background here and in the background here. So, thumbnail justified.
First try.
We're moving.
First try. I'm
All
sick
right,
now.
I
Jake.
am.
I felt like I had the power for a
am-
minute. Now it's gone.
You have the power.
I have the power.
I am joined by these 3 lovely bozos. Jake, how you doing tonight?
No, bozos are for the 86 episode when we talk about Circus Charlie. So that's coming soon.
I'm washing my hair that year.
It's just gonna be me talking about Circus Charlie, really. Solo.
You're gonna have to find a runner-up. It's gonna be balloon
That's a
fight.
tap B, right? That's just a
Gonna
tap B.
The runner-up is Balloon Fight.
Yeah.
That'll be my year.
Chard, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm fantastic. I'm jonesing to play some Silent Hill 2, which has nothing to do with this conversation, but I'll tell you right now, I've not played it since Sunday and I'm losing my shit. I'm like a fucking fiend.
I've
right
only
now.
watched you play it, and I'm jonesing to play it. So
Well,
there you go.
we'll talk about that later.
Sinistar, how about you?
I am exhausted. This is the last
Understandable.
time. This is the end of an era. This is the last time you all are going to see this background live. I will record it and use my green screen. But starting either tonight or tomorrow or something, it is getting packed.
I was like, what about the front ground? Do we got to watch that too?
I'll wear a mask. It's fine.
It is Halloween.
All right. So as I said, we're talking about the not necessarily the best of the best, but our picks for best of the best for 1988.
No, I just tweeted out the best games of '88, so we better kind of stick on brand and do the very best of the best.
Well, okay.
Well,
so
I mean,
Super Mario
nobody's
2.
picking Circus Charlie, so we're okay. Nobody's picking Beetlejuice, so we're fine.
Yeah.
All right.
I think
When
If
did-
it's not,
when
if it's
did-
not
a
our
lot of
picks this
games
year, then it's
land.
trash.
When did Fester's Quest come out? When did Fester's Quest come out?
That's a good question.
I
I'd
think that
get
was
up and
89.
check, but I'm hosting, so
Yeah.
Get hosted.
Get hosted.
can't walk away when I'm hosting. That's just rude.
All right, going to my mind palace.
It was of a year, probably in the 80s.
89. Oh,
Oh.
we
Oh,
we
skipped
missed
it.
I called
Just
it.
missed it.
Oh,
Just missed it.
dang. It should have
Dang.
made the list. So
Crap.
go high on the list.
Sad.
That's
Uh,
okay.
Maybe it made it in our top 100 list.
We'll see.
Sure did.
Remember that top 100 list we had? That was a good
we
idea
worked all
once,
year on
right?
Yeah.
Did we
Yeah.
do a top 100?
We got to finish
we
it.
started it.
All right.
Anyways.
All right. Who
All right.
who wants to kick this off with their runner up for 1988? Sinistar. All right, let's
Okay.
do it.
All right. Okay, so my runner-up is a notoriously hard game. It's in good family because it's in a family of notoriously hard games. It also has the claim to fame that it was the first video game that they did for the Roland MT32 for the soundtrack. And the composer and music creator also has his claim to fame is he did a lot of the music for the TV show Fame.
Really?
And something else, and I'm blanking on it. But anyway, my runner-up for 1988 Game of the Year is King's Quest IV: Perils of Rosella.
It's a good pick. Strong
Thank you.
pick.
So the background to this was and it's funny because there was complaints that King's Quest 3 was too hard. And so they actually toned it down, which is funny
Really?
because when you look at it,
Okay.
it's it's got the Sierra jank with stairs. Like there is a scene where you're climbing a tower, right? So it's a spiral staircase. And you get to a point where it literally reverses every key press.
Yep.
So not just like left and right or whatever, but like you press right to go left. And we're talking like pixel perfect walking. And of course you fall and die. There's an area where you have a lantern and it is arguably the worst lantern in history because it basically lights up maybe 10 more pixels outside of your character. And there are chasms that you can't see and you just fall into. It is a Sierra adventure game where
E.T.,
trolling
is that you?
yeah
Yeah.
where trolling was real. Like, I mean, these developers. But that said, this game, first off, one of the earliest games I remember that had a female protagonist.
Yeah.
Which I think is important. As I said, the soundtrack was the first on the Roland MT32, and do yourself a favor, go look up the soundtrack on YouTube, the Roland MT32 soundtrack. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is this composer nailed it out of the starting gate. One of the first games with a day-night cycle. And only certain things happen during the day and certain things happen during the night. One of the first games I remember that had a essentially real-time game. So basically the game is supposed to take place in over 24 hours, and so you have that much game time before you kind of lose. I mean, these were a lot of new concepts that are kind of standard tropes now.
I don't know if I like that though. I don't like the idea of like this kind of game, which you can put a lot of time into these games. And if I didn't realize the 24-hour time limit, that could really kind of screw you at the end if you're not paying attention to how much time you're traveling around the map. Was that not annoying? Because I think of like Fallout 1 had that issue where there's a time limit on how long you could to beat the game, and if you weren't aware of that, it really screw up your playthrough. So,
Well, let's be honest. Let's be honest. It's a Sierra adventure game. And so if you're not following the Sierra standard rule, you're screwed anyway, which is save early, save often.
Yep.
right, right.
So
But
there is plenty of times that you're like, I hope I have a save game before that point, right? I mean,
okay,
that's relatively common in the Sierra games. So
Yeah. This was the last of the typing adventure games, if I remember right,
yes.
too. Because when you go into King's Quest 5, it's more you can change your characters walking and grabbing and seeing. This one you had to type out, bait fish, as you saw in the picture, bait hook,
yeah,
fish, do all this stuff. The biggest hang up with me for a lot of these games was I didn't know the command word, so you just type
Mm-hmm.
every goddamn thing
Mm-hmm.
until it finally did something. Also, now I know this wasn't in every single scene, but as you're changing scenes, there are certain windows where you had to take out the floppy
Uh-huh.
and flip it and put it back in. And it wasn't every one, but it felt like it. Like I felt like
Well,
I'd go like 3 scenes and it would
we
be like, please put in disc 9. And you're like, I don't know where disc you have to shuffle
yeah,
through.
we need to
Yeah.
call this out that it had 8 sides of discs,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so like it's not far off from every 3 scenes. Like you flip over from side 1 during the intro credits.
Yep.
Well, so usually with these kind of games, usually they're not linear, but there's usually they purposely put you into certain areas of the game, and that is
Yeah.
going to keep you limited to one or two sides of a disc. But I think this one was more open from the looks of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. The
Well, honestly,
RNG. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, honestly, even the first one, it just felt like you could just wander. I mean, it had
Yeah.
a limited amount of sides you can go, and I think it would repeat. I think it was a circle
The
after so
first
many walks.
the only real restriction to the first one was there was a in-game timer that most people didn't realize that the wizard would show up after a
Yeah,
certain
that's
amount
right.
of time.
Yep. Okay.
And he would teleport you back to basically the beginning.
Right.
And so
Okay.
that was really how the first one kind of like that was the most annoying part of the first one, right? Was
Right.
oh, I'm now up in the wizard's tower. Oh, and now I'm back at the beginning of the game.
Right. Right. Okay. That's what I thought. It still felt very open ended, though. You
Yeah.
can. Would there? I mean, there's literally, if I remember right, there's not a lot of hand holding in any of at least the first 4
Oh,
of these,
oh no.
Yeah.
especially this one. So you just had to be like, look at rock.
Uh-huh.
Nothing. Okay.
Oh
Look
yeah.
at blue flower. Look at
Yeah.
clack, 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 clack. And you
Yep.
got really good at typing.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
you learned how to type.
And this game was notorious for the amount of space that you could have between what you were supposed to do and where you stood was really tight.
Yeah.
And so like I've seen kind of a trope that's like the greatest enemy in this game is the you are not close enough. Like
Yep.
it just is a text that's like you are not close enough.
Yep.
So the
Still
RNG,
get
I
that.
mean, this
Proximity is
game
the antagonist's right hand man.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
This game is brutally hard. Like I would suggest if you want to try it out, do some exploration and then go find yourself a walkthrough and try to explore and then look at the walkthrough and explore and look at the walkthrough. But like the RNG is ridiculous in this game. There are events that may or may not pop and you end up going back and forth between scenes like 30 times to try to get the RNG to pop, right?
Yep.
I mean, this is early Sierra, right?
Right.
Well, yeah, it's 88.
See, I don't remember that kind of thing because I've not played this one, but I played King's Quest 3 and I played Police Quest and Space Quest a fair bit more.
Mhm.
I'm not used to the RNG, really. I
Mm.
know that, and I'd never call these games hard, but they're definitely puzzly, right? In terms of you have to
Oh
figure
yeah.
out what to do. But I don't consider hard like Battletoads hard. I just consider it, that's the fun of the game is exploring and figuring out where you're supposed to go. So I always kind of liked it. I just didn't ever consider it hard, but I can see where you're coming from by calling it that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
Well, and
didn't expect the RNG stuff. That's for sure.
there are some flea events in this game as well where like you have to run away. Like I remember
Okay.
that there's a part where you're trying to help these ghosts move on to the next, and so you have to talk to them and get their story, and then you have to go and you have to find their gravestone based on what they've told you. And there are zombies wandering around the gravestones, and the problem is if they touch you, you turn into a zombie.
Right.
And the real rub is when you're digging up the grave to get the thing. It's a locked event, right? You are digging until it's done. And so those zombies, you better hope they're far enough away that you get a chance to run.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And then being a Sierra game, speaking of this puzzle, it's mean too. You have to essentially free 5 ghosts, and your shovel breaks after you dig 5 gravestones. Like it is. So if you mess up and get one wrong, you better have a save.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the frustrating thing with these
Golly.
games, but I mean that's just the rule back then, like you said before.
Mhm.
Save early, save often. You have to for these kind of games, and yeah. It
Now,
looks
it's a-
great though. I'm
Yeah.
just looking at the
Yeah.
graphics of this. The art style in this
Yeah.
is the best I've seen of these, but I've only played the older games. I love the
Yeah.
sprite work in this.
Well,
Yeah.
and what's interesting about this too is they had created their new engine. They had the AGI engine, and they had just created the SCI engine, which led to the cursor changing instead of the typing and all of that stuff. And this game was actually developed for both engines.
Okay.
And then what's even crazier is the Apple II GS version is the older AGS, but they've added more, so it actually has more colors than the SCI version. So it's kind of
okay.
crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, and I know I'm selling this, down the river, right? Because I'm saying it's hard, but that's an expectation with Sierra games. They're a blast. The exploration is a lot of fun. Yeah. So,
Word. It's a good pick.
and do yourself a favor, and the fruit that you're getting to save your dad, King Graham, just go ahead and eat it because the game will let you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the CR games. Like these are the ones I had nostalgia for. I don't like the point and click
Wow.
ones. I like the ones where you're typing all the actions myself as well. That's the
Mhm.
nostalgia I have for these. And yeah, they're all great. I remember I played the hell out of a Space Quest and Police Quest, but the King's Quest 3 was great. I've always wanted to go back and play this one because like
Mhm.
this is like the last of that style, like you said. Really
Yeah.
good pick. I like this game
I-
a lot.
I want you mentioned typing again, and I've been meaning to say one piece of typing. There is a puzzle where you are trying to cross essentially like a swamp or something, and you literally are just typing the word jump, and she's jumping from, one thing to the next. And I think you type it 10 or 12 or something times, and basically it's the game training you to type jump, because the last one you have to put down a wood plank before you move instead of jump.
Mm,
That's kind of evil. That's
Uh-huh.
kind of sinister.
that
Yeah.
sounds like Sierra. That sounds like
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's
Wish
great.
they had done that in Battletoads Turbo Tunnel.
Yeah. So anyway, I love this game. I played it on the Apple II back in the day, which means I had the the chip tune, just the beeps and boops. But I listened to the soundtrack today on YouTube, the Roland soundtrack, and I think I'm gonna turn it into MP3s and listen to it from now on. It's
Nice.
it's
That good,
gorgeous.
huh? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Definitely a good pick on that one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. There was a game made by the Homestar Runner guys that was a lot like this. I
Mhm.
can't remember what it was, but it was like
It's like the Trials
a
of
spin-off
Marzipan or
of
some
like the
shit.
Thy Dungeon Man games or something, and you ended up having to face Trogdor.
Nice.
No, you're actually like I remember it specifically because they made a point of mentioning the thatched roof
I think we're losing Wolf.
Yeah, we're getting Robot Wolf.
in this. So
Robo Wolf.
come on.
Well, hold on, Wolf. We're losing you.
I don't know what's going on, guys.
I just blame
That's
Comcast
all right.
for everything.
Yeah.
That's all I do.
It's
Let's see if
podcast.
that helps.
All right.
I haven't
Yeah.
had issues in months. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, you're not
Because this
Robo
podcast,
anymore,
guys.
but your
Yeah,
your
your
video's
audio's coming
catching
through.
up.
Yeah,
Your audio's good though.
Okay. I don't know what the deal is. That's weird.
that's okay.
Anyway,
Oh, good, man.
what was the last thing you heard me say? Talking about the
You were talking about
Trogdor game,
the
I'm guessing.
Something
Trogdor.
Yeah.
something at the end of Trogdor, you had to challenge Trogdor and then something.
Oh yeah, I remember that specifically because they made it a point of mentioning the thatched roof huts in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the thatched roof pointed out in one of the dialogue boxes that we were watching in the gameplay. So it just
Nice.
very much reminded me of that.
Nice.
All right. So I guess I'll go next before I my internet completely takes a dump, I guess.
So you cleaned up quite good. You
Yeah,
look-
you look good.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I just shut everything down basically. I'm going with Super Mario Brothers 2 as my runner-up.
Mm.
gonna get
US
hate
2,
mail.
right? US 2, right?
Yeah, US 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, before people jump down my throat about this one, I do want to point out everybody loves to say, "Oh, it wasn't a Mario game. It wasn't a Mario game." It was
is.
a Mario game. If you look into the history of this,
It's canon.
the
actually.
engine for Doki Doki Panic was originally going to be a vertical Mario game, and then
Yep.
they got approached by a third-party company to license a game, and they were like, "Well, let's just use this engine for that."
Yeah.
So it went around to becoming back to a Mario game. So yes, Mario 2 counts.
I still like to
Also-
call it Doki Doki Mario 2.
Same.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got the Shy Guys and the Sniffets, and
Yeah.
And Birdo,
there's so
you got
much
Birdo.
iconic.
Birdo's
there's
huge.
so many iconic things about the Mario franchise that came from Mario 2.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, it counts because all that shit's canon apparently.
It is.
Even if
Yeah.
it was a dream.
And that's
Mario
the best
dreamed
part.
it
You could
to
totally,
life.
you could duck it out. Just be like, "Oh, it's a fucking dream. It's just a dream."
It's
They
the
still-
Dallas. It's the Dallas. Method.
Yeah.
They still bring out these characters from time to time in some of the side Mario games, right? Like Paper Mario, I think, likes to bring out the Shy Guys, if I'm not wrong,
Mhm.
or the Mario parties and stuff. It seems like not mainline Mario would you get these, but they definitely still bring the characters out from time to time. So and I appreciate that. Right?
I know for a fact I've seen Birdo in more than just
Same.
Mario 2.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think Shy Guys have made appearances in other Mario games, but they tend to make appearances in the Yoshi games,
Yeah.
Right.
which I mean, at least it's not a sports game. It's
And we've seen the
it's the
ninjas.
Mario extended universe.
Yeah.
The ninjas have been in and out too. So whatever,
That's
ninjas.
true.
Oh, that's right. They were in
Yeah,
Mario
ninjas
Wonder.
were in
That's
Mario
true.
World.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
I,
What was that, Wolf?
Oh yeah, Wolf, go ahead.
Oh, I said ninjas were in Mario World.
Mhm.
The Last Castle.
Yeah.
I finally beat
Uh,
this game. I think last year. It was the year before
Really?
that. It was one of my Decembers. Yeah, I finally beat this goddamn game. So
Mhm.
not
I think
without
I
its
beat this game
challenges.
like twice in each. Like, I did 2 streams back to back on days, and I beat it 2 times on each stream. One playing through strictly as Mario, one as Luigi, one as Peach, and one as Toad, and I did no warps.
No, see, I warped the shit out of that.
I have a memory of this game that one of the things I love about this game is that you get to select your character and they have unique abilities. It's not just Super Mario Brothers where it's like, oh, Luigi's the same character, it's just a reskin,
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
In this game, they make him trash, which is great. So now I feel better not picking him.
well, he does the
Except
whole
I
like
beat it with that. Yeah,
he does the
Luigi's
whole
great.
like
He
What,
has the
Luigi?
highest jump. He's
got the long
floaty.
jump. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he spin his legs around like a maniac. He's awful to control.
Yeah.
Toad is the best character in this game. I love Toad. The fast pickups and he's faster. Just
I like Princess. Is it Peach in this one or is
Yes,
it
It's
Peach.
Toadstool.
It's
it's
Oh, is
Toadstool?
it Princess
Okay.
is
Toadstool?
it Toadstool?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Toadstool because she gets the
She wasn't
Hover.
Peach just yet.
yeah.
Mm.
She was still just Toadstool, at least here in the West.
Well,
This is before the divorce when she changed her name back to Peach. Yeah, that's the canon. Yeah,
But yeah, I love this game. I love the music. I love the gameplay. The characters are so off the wall fun. Like you could jump on the back of a bird and fly
Yeah.
across. Like that
Yeah.
Yep.
was something new for Mario. You pick them up and huck them at you throw a
Yeah.
throw a bitch at another bitch kind of thing. You know.
Yeah. The inverse worlds, right? I
yeah.
mean,
oh yeah,
yeah.
and like the music in the inverse, where like the
Music's great.
subcons, it changes.
Yeah.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's that
Yeah.
different tune.
Yeah.
That is wild to me. I love that. I like
Yeah.
how
No,
there's still mushrooms in the game. You can still get mushrooms, but they're definitely different than they were in Mario 1 and Mario 3. So
No, I
I
Put
joke
up
that
at
it's Doki Doki Mario, but I think it's a great game.
Oh, this is a
Yeah,
really
it's
good winner. I remember I got a story for this. So when I was younger, my teeth were, my baby teeth were coming out, and I had a front tooth that was very, very loose. And my mother had promised my sister and I that if I lost the tooth before my mother got home, that we could go and get the game, because I have a big thing with my teeth when I was younger. Still do. And so my sister, being the great sister that she is, decided to try and pry it out of my mouth for me with pliers. And my roots were really solid, but we ended up getting my tooth completely backwards while it was still in my mouth before we even got it out. And when they went to the dentist to pull it, because my mom was like, "We can get it out, then you don't have to go to the dentist. We could use that money to buy the game." So we were tried, and it was hell on earth. And I literally pulled teeth to get this game, and had to go to the dentist, but it popped out. And since the guy said the work wasn't so bad, that they didn't charge us for it, because it was like they're like, "Yeah, you've already done a number on this thing, so we're just gonna get it out there, and you guys can
You've
go home." And
you've absolutely shredded your gums. You'll be fine.
yeah,
like with
and my
sisters
mother
like
was
that. No
like,
wonder you had issues with teeth. Like I
"Yeah,
think anybody would.
yeah."
That's nuts.
And but we got the game out of it. So my
This
mother was
this
like,
folks
she
is
she held up her end.
this folks is why it took Chard until last year or the year before to beat this game, because he has nightmares every time
Because
he
my
spins it
teeth
up
hurt
of his
every
teeth.
time I fire it up. It's just the front one though. Just this one right here.
Well, he has an urge to go get a set of pliers, and he has to fight that off.
Yeah, I've got tools in my office that I've had to remove when I play this game, drills and such.
I will say this is another game that's I mean I love a lot of retro speed runs to watch. This is one of my favorite speed runs to watch because of the tricks that you can do in this one. I know Wolf and you and I played that Nintendo World Championship a few weeks back, and I think my favorite challenge from that was the Mario 2 one, where you have to use Luigi to kind of fly across the gap in that second world. Instead of
Yeah,
riding the magic
on
carpet with the bird, you had to fly across. That's really rad to pull off, and the game is full of stuff like that.
That's the other thing, is you get to change your character like with each level, so you don't have to
Yes.
commit to like every single one. So if you're like, "Oh, I want to try Toad on this one. I want to try Toadstool or whatever," you don't have to be like, "I'm committed to Mario and I've made a huge mistake." Like, that kind of deal. So
I
yeah, on
absolutely love the going into the jars and having to toss the dirt up, to
yeah,
go
Yeah.
get. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, but there's something about that I love. And then if you sit there too long, the sun dude comes and tries to wreck you.
you're completely panic stricken. Like
Yeah.
it's the mask when you pull the keys to take the keys out, but you're trying to dig to get to the keys, and
Yeah.
you've got the Shy Guys or the Bullet, the
Uh-huh.
Sniffets like following back and forth, and they keep falling in your holes.
Yeah.
So you have to be like, you have to position them so that they'll fall one tier at a time.
Yeah,
'Cause
you
if
like
just
run
do
across one
line,
tier.
they just fall straight down on top of you.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. I love the bosses in this too,
Yeah,
and like the later bosses. Like I like how you can use the blocks to kind of build a little wall to
Mm.
defend against the bombs
Mhm.
being thrown at you. I think there's a flame guy at one point. I
Yeah,
remember doing
three-headed
a lot of
snake.
that. Yeah, a
Flame
lot of that
snake, yeah.
tactical stuff. Just really, really imaginative bosses that like we get bosses in modern Mario games, but something about the Mario 2 bosses just felt really great, really
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that mouse boss with the sunglasses in a later Mario
Uh-huh.
game. I don't think he
Yeah.
ever came back, but he was
Like
really rad.
even the Toad guy at the very end of Mario 2, just I don't think he ever makes any kind of appearance. I
Oh,
don't think
Wart.
anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, he
Wart.
never.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever come back. Yeah,
Yeah. He was a pretty cool boss. That was a fun boss fight. You had to catch the
Yeah.
vegetables as they're coming out of his machine
yeah.
and then throw them back at
Yep.
him. I thought that was kind of a neat
Well,
boss
this
fight
is
scene. It's
this is a great pick.
Yeah.
And funny
I
enough,
actually,
it's a runner up.
yeah, it's a runner-up. And that actually, because of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, it drew a lot from Super Mario Brothers 2 because
Yeah.
that was the newest game out at the time.
Yep.
And I always loved that scene of Bowser or King Koopa in the first episode. Like, who threw that vegetable?
Right.
Yep.
Nice.
Great
Good
pick.
Yeah.
Runner up. Runner up. All right, I'll go next
Alrighty.
because
Hey,
You wanna
Jake
go?
looks. Jake,
yeah, go for it.
yeah, unless Jake looked like he was about to take the deepest breath of his life, like he.
No, I was
regrets
pulling my
his
video
runner-up.
up because I thought I was going next. So I'm like, okay, I'll get my
Oh,
video
if you
ready
go,
before I
if you
start
got it
talking.
ready, go. Go
Yeah,
for it. No, you're
I
ready,
was
go.
gonna
Go for
tell
it.
Jake to go next. I was just distracted. I'm trying to make sure my internet's not taking a dump on me.
You're
So I
okay.
keep
No,
you're
you
good
look
now.
accessing
better
my
now.
Yeah.
Xfinity. I've heard
Yeah,
you.
you're doing
I've
real
seen you guys sort of a couple times.
No,
So
you look
All
good.
right.
Okay.
I'm hounding my Xfinity app to make sure that they know I'm using it.
I'm
Please
here,
don't
damn
turn
it.
this off. I need it right now.
I need
Sometimes
it.
they just need a reminder, like, yeah, I'm using you.
Yes. Yes.
It's like
I
knocking on the
realized
digital door.
I
Hey,
realize
I'm
it's
here.
Xfinity. I realize it's Xfinity, guys.
Yeah. Hey, I'm still here. Please don't turn off the lights.
That's good.
Awesome.
All right, Jake, you go.
So
buddy.
my pick is basically it's one of Rare's earliest games, I think. Anyway, so for those who know the history of Rare, you have Chris and Tim Stamper, a very famous brother duo in video gamings. They were on the ZX Spectrum, I think it was originally, but when they moved to the NES with their custom engine or their custom work, it was pretty good. And this was RC Pro-Am, and I'm just gonna pull it up real quick.
I'm glad
This
you
game
picked
is
this one.
great.
I
Yeah.
almost picked this. I was real close to picking this one.
Like I wasn't quite sure if I want to pick this one. So I was playing again earlier today after work just to get a feel for it again, and I'm glad I did because I love this one. This has got to be some kind of inspiration to the Mario Kart people because it's not a kart racer. It's meant to be an RC, race with little race RC cars. There's four on the track, and there's different vehicles, although you don't really necessarily notice it. But just the idea of that you're on a track and there is power ups, there's turbo, there's tires, there's missiles and bombs. So there's that that damaging your opponent type feel to it. Very much feels like this could be an inspiration for Mario Kart years later. There's nothing quite like it on the NES that I found. Like even the sequel, there was an RC Pro-Am 2 came out a couple years later. Nowhere near as good as this one, I find. Like this is a game that has, I want to say it was 12 tracks, but then they changed the hazards on it to kind of double them up to 24, 36. But there's a lot of tracks, and I think it even infinitely loops if I'm not wrong later on. So there's lots of tracks to kind of go through. And as you're playing through each of the different tracks, they start adding, weather and clouds, oil slicks, all kinds of crazy stuff. And your cars get better and better and better as you play. So by the time you get to, I think it was like around the level 20 or so, you're flying across these tracks. It goes very quick. But it's just like a really, really great 3/4 top-down view racer where there's like lots of frames of animation on the cars that I wasn't expecting for the NES. Like it looks really good. I mean, the only thing negative I have about this one is that there's really only one tile set, the green grass. That's pretty much all it is. But I mean, there's enough track variety and just enough of the power-ups and changes to each track. I have a blast playing through this game. Like the music is fantastic. It's David Weiss. Everybody probably knows him from the Donkey Kong Country soundtracks, but David Weiss did the soundtrack for this one. The graphics are fantastic. Gameplay's tight. I mean, it's just something about flying around the track and shooting missiles at the CPU to take him out of the race feels
Nintendo.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys have played this one.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I wanna tell a story now about teeth.
Oh wow! Didn't realize this be a toothy episode.
Press B to teeth.
Because-
Yeah. Okay.
Because my dentist in junior high had in his waiting room an Atari 2600 with asteroids, and he had an NES with Duck Hunt, which the gun sort of works sometimes, or
Okay.
RC Pro-Am. So I played a lot of RC Pro-Am at the dentist's office.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Tooth Tua.
Yeah.
I
It's a great game. It's fantastic. But all of a sudden I saw, it's funny. You said RC Pro-Am when we started talking about this episode. The minute you brought up the video, I was like, oh, motherfucker. Oh,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah. This is one of the first games that we got with our NES. So we got, Mario Duck Hunt Combo, RC Pro-Am, and Excite Bike. Those were the ones that we had for a while. And my sisters and I would play this game all the time. We loved RC Pro. We were terrible at it. And now that you mention it, Jake, I never even thought of putting Mario Kart to this, but it
Yeah.
definitely, definitely looks just like that.
Yeah.
I loved RC Pro. I mean, and I was looking at our list and I was like, oh, I got some good memories of RC Pro Am. No one's gonna pick that. Man, I should pick that. And I was like, yeah, but I like this one better. I'll just let it go and I'm going to be really upset. And then you picked it and I went, yes, it's going to get some love because this game definitely deserves it. I loved RC Pro Am. This felt real, like you said, the controls super tight. The car feels really good when you're using it on the controller. It honestly, it reminds me of anybody's been on Autotopia at Disneyland. That's what it feels like driving in real life, just hitting the wall.
Just no missiles. That's
Hopefully
all.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about.
that's kind of accurate, actually. I know what you're talking about.
I kind of
Yeah,
love.
this is.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say this is a game I played. I never had this, but I knew people that had it. So of
Hmm.
course, we'd have the odd afternoon where it was just like, let's play the crap out of RC Pro Am, and like really kick ass for a little while, and all of a sudden hit a wall and suck.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
the,
there's-
I
the
was-
music was great. The sound effects in this, like,
Yeah.
am I wrong, or did this game sort of have like reverb on the sound chip or something? Like,
Kind of felt like it.
Some of the sound effects didn't sound NES. They almost reminded me of the Atari, but in the best way. If that sounds right, it didn't sound like the NES sound effects, but it was really well. I still love the sound effects and I have a lot of nostalgia for it. But
Yeah.
it's definitely unique sounds.
I was gonna say one of my favorite things about this is even though it's an NES game, like the vehicles have antennas because the
Yeah,
whole
because it's an
RC
RC
thing.
yeah, they're
right?
RC
RCs.
thing.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that like they've given it like the little treatment of like an antenna
Yeah.
to make
Yeah.
sure it's an RC game.
It's like the closest I've ever seen to this kind of like aesthetic is Micro Machines, right? But that's
Mm.
totally different than this game. Like there's definitely games that came later, like Rock and Roll Racing and whatnot, that I think feel close to this. But we're talking like past the NES. We're talking SNES, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I dig this game. I rented it as a kid, and I just remember loving this as a rental. I wish I owned it because it felt like there's enough there that it justified the price of buying it. Because I've been burned as a kid, as I think we all have at some point, buying games for these systems where it's like a couple hours and you're done over and done with. But this is a game I
Yep.
spent a whole weekend playing and loved it. There's just enough variety in the tracks. I loved it, and the gameplay was just that good. It was just fun, right? It was just a fun NES game. But definitely one of my favorite ones to go back to on the Mister.
Lead car
Alright.
cheats. Just the lead card always cheats.
Yeah. All right. So runner up for Jake, RC Pro Am.
Oh yeah. I'm
All
like
right.
hypnotized by your RC Pro Am playthrough there. Bringing back good
all right,
memories.
Chard, what is your runner-up?
My runner-up for 1988 has got to be Bubble Bobble. Bubble Bobble
Yeah.
Bubble Bobble was a long time. I've never finished this game because there's like 100 goddamn levels or some shit.
It's long, yeah.
It's a long goddamn game, but it's got killer tunes. It's cute. It's fun. It's got really cool techniques into it, where you can blast the bubble and it shoots
Mhm.
you across the rooms and stuff.
Or the
I-
water
I-
bubbles.
Yeah. It's you gotta pop the guys and then jump on them. It was a great 2-player couch co-op kind of game. You ride the bubbles up to the top if you
Yeah.
needed to get to something. It
I was
just
gonna
it
say-
was super simple and it was just a lot of fun to play. I rented
I-
this game religiously as a kid.
I was gonna say that oh nice. This is one of the best couch co-op games ever.
Easily.
Yeah.
This was fun for my family and I to play. This was fun for friends to come over and play. There was some really cool things. I love the
Chasing your
electrocution.
friends. Chasing your
Yeah, I
friends
love-
and putting them into the bubbles.
Yep. I love the electrocution bubble where you hit
Uh-huh.
it, you go, "Gah!" and it shocks your character and then it hits whatever's around it. This was a really neat game. It's got some really cool levels. I like how they introduced like the actual sprites as part of the level, as you can see in this video right here. We've got one of the enemies is painted in the
Yeah.
background. It's just really clever. It was Nintendo hard though. very Nintendo
Yeah.
hard. When the things like when there's one left and it's red and it's
Yeah.
freaking out, you've got to try and catch it before it kills you. Like it's
Yeah.
just this was a really fun game growing up,
And I
and
still
love
hear
this
the
game.
music. You say bubble bobble and it just
Yep.
pops into my
Yeah.
head.
You
It's just
start dancing,
infectious. Yeah.
going down the bubble.
Yep.
This is a cool game, and I know it's simple and it might be mildly childish, but it's just it's a big part of my nostalgia growing up. So
For me, this game was always the Commodore 64 version is what I played because my friend had it on his machine. And I just remember playing this with that awful janky ass C64 joystick that never
Yep.
quite felt like it was working right. It was broken. But I used to play
Right.
this game with that, and that's where I come back to. Much better on the NES. It's definitely great on the NES. I'm totally see it with 2 players. Yeah, just such a
I
lot
still
of
play this
like
on my Steam
so many
Deck.
stages. Oh yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
many
Oh, yeah.
stages.
I think it's 99 stages if I remember right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's some insane number that
It
I
is.
never reached.
It's either 99 or 100. I don't remember which. 100 might just be the final boss or something. But
Yeah.
I think so.
And I think
do-
there's a password system in this, if I remember right. So, because it's
Was
definitely a game of attrition. It's got to be
Or
something.
there's a
that
stage
gets
select, I think, for a certain number of stages. I think
Oh,
there's
is
some
there?
kind of
yeah,
I
you
think
can
it's not
stage select up
impossible,
to
it's
like
just long.
20
Yeah.
or 30 or something. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely got your money's worth when you rented this because
Yeah.
it took.
Oh yeah,
it took
I
forever.
I have a story of we rented this. I was 6, and my uncle was watching me and my cousins, and so there's like I don't remember if it was 3 or 4 of us, but we were all like 5 to 8 years old, and then my uncle,
Hmm.
and he was like, "Well, I rented Bubble Bobble, so let's play Bubble Bobble tonight." And nobody else was there, it was just him and my cousins and I, and we stayed up until like 3 or 4 in the morning. All these kids who had no business being up that late, just trying over and over again to barrel through this game. I think by the time we went to sleep, we saw like level 75 or 80.
Nice.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna get shit from the GP for never finishing this game but picking it as my game of the year.
He'll just do a video and show you how to beat it in 10 minutes.
Show me how to beat
He'll,
it in
he'll
10 minutes.
loop it
Sounds
5
great.
times
I
when we're
think we
talking
found
about
your
it. Yeah.
Sisyphia next year.
Yeah,
No.
okay.
Yes.
I have to enjoy the entire
Yes.
game, not the first 50.
Enjoy your Battletoads of 2025.
I badge that shit. Leave me alone. So yeah, Bubble Bobble definitely runner up. This was a great game, and I really enjoyed
yeah.
playing it.
Yeah. A champion game for sure.
Absolutely. All right.
All right. Sinistar, you want to give us your pick of 1988?
Yes.
And nobody's surprised.
You're
Called
all
it.
gonna be absolutely surprised. All right, I'm gonna preface this. If you're new to the podcast, this will be a surprise to you. If you've listened to us, I don't know, even probably a third of our episodes, I've talked about this series. It is my favorite series of games. Bard's Tale 2, The Destiny Knight, sitting right there. Yeah.
No way.
Who would have
Bard's
guessed?
Tale. Who would have picked
No
Bard's
way.
Tale?
Right.
What? No.
No.
I mean, it's on the list. What was I going to pick, right? I mean, considering I don't know if Bard's Tale 1 or Bard's Tale 2 is my favorite game of all time. So I mean, I had to pick it. So
Okay.
this game is it's an enhancement on top of Bard's Tale 1. I love Bard's Tale 1 for all that it had, but Bard's Tale 2 adds distance to the battles. It adds the ability to bring monsters in, well, more than one monster into your party, stuff like that. I mean, it really just grew. Oh, it has multiple cities instead of a single city. It really built on top of the first one. The only reason I don't know if this one or number 1 is my favorite is there are a couple of the puzzles in Bard's Tale 2 that are absolute bullshit. So, but if you can look
Okay.
beyond those, which you should, pick up Bard's Tale Trilogy. It's the remaster. It's on Steam. It's on GOG. And play through it. It has all the creature comforts that they should have had in 1988.
Stop
Is
trying
it
to get me
faithful
buy
to the
stuff.
original though, in terms of like
Oh, yes.
story and setting
Oh,
and
yes.
everything? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's basically it's the same game with polish and creature comforts. So, like we, when we were kids, we had the graph paper and we would map out dungeons, right?
Right. Yeah.
Which of course it would do things like teleport you or spin you or something. So there was a lot of correcting our maps because things would go sideways. This game has an auto mapper, which it probably should have from the beginning. Stuff like that. So
Hmm.
yeah.
I only know of what you told us with the Bard's Tales games, so I'm
Yeah, same.
unfortunately unknowledgeable about this. But you do talk this one up quite a bit, and you need to stop
It's
getting me to buy stuff.
it's more it's I mean it's great because it has a lot of hints and story as part of the game, but it also throws the occasional like this actually is misinformation to try to, skew you.
Hmm.
Um puzzles, lots of battles. There's RNG battles, but there's also built-in battles. Um, some decent loot. It's not a looter shooter by any means, but it has decent loot. It's one of those where like it was my first experience with like creating a party and having to
Right.
build out, okay, I want a paladin for this, and I want a monk because monks get multiple attacks when they don't have weapons. And and the first the first four slots I think are melee range, but the back slots are ranged, and I
Mhm.
mean it's
Okay.
all that stuff. Multiple tiers of magic classes, mages, conjurers, archmages, all that stuff. Um, and
Archmage
yeah.
looks like it was wielding a pistol in the portrait.
Yeah,
Just packing
yeah,
some
pretty
heat,
much.
right? It's like
Yeah,
dogma.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then of course, it throws some interesting, the whole story is a bard's tale, so there are some key events that you have to have a bard in your party, that sort of stuff. So
Hmm.
Yeah. So for the
now,
video, I have
oh
the
god,
Apple II version up, I guess, but was it on
yeah,
DOS as well?
it was. I actually played. So I played the first one on Apple II. I actually played Bard's Tale 2 on MS DOS.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
I did play the DOS version. And what was I going to say? Oh, it's old school hard. Everybody talks about Wizardry being like the hardest RPG of all time, right? I mean, which I will agree. Wizardry is bad.
It's
Wizardry is
hard.
hard.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is a close second. So this is one of those games where it tells you in the manual if your character dies in the first 5 levels, just go build a new character and don't res
Just
them.
give
Just
up.
walk away.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
So,
All right.
but once you can get into, once you build your classes up to a certain tier, it becomes epic. Like
Yeah.
the first time your monk, you see your monk do multiple hits in a battle and you're like, "Oh, holy shit. Yeah." You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And
Nice.
then, your mages end up with the area effect spells and you're like, "Oh, fuck, it's on."
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Little.
These are games I need to play. I really
Yeah.
like these first person dungeon crawlers, but I'm
Mhm.
also really kind of bad at them.
I
Well,
think
definitely.
same because if you don't know the correct way to build a party, I think you kind of screw
Yeah.
yourself a bit in these. And I had the same issue
Yeah.
when I was trying to play them.
Yeah, we found, well, and it's also one of those games where it's like you get the option to re-roll your character stats, right? As you're building them. It's that whole like re-roll. And we would get to the point where we'd be like hitting R to re-roll and there'd be a good one and we'd just be hitting R and all of a sudden we're like,
Oh.
"Oh fuck." You know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 Done
So,
that.
and of course different races can be different classes. I mean, there's that whole aspect.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was kind of my first foray. This and the Ultima slash Akalabeth games. These were my first forays into RPGs, and I feel better for starting with these than others.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't start with Wizardry. I'd probably be like Fuck
I
RPGs
hate
forever.
RPGs.
You know,
RPGs are the worst thing ever.
I would be over
Like an
here
ice
saying,
level.
Balloon Fight's the best game of all time.
You'd be
You're
wow.
missing
You
out.
would
I
be
mean,
misinformed, sir.
Did this game have 32 guys to deal with?
Um, there is a battle of
Classic.
four parties. There's a battle of four parties of 99. That's a built-in battle. Just FYI.
Nice
So-
Sorry, that was a little bit of a throwback joke
That's
there.
nice
for,
throwback.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing like a good podcast inside joke to
Yeah,
really
exactly.
get
If you're
my
curious
mind.
about that one, go ahead and check out our Box Art Blues episode.
Box Art
I
Blues.
think it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
You'll get your answer there.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's right. Back in the box, 32 guys to deal
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. Yeah. Good old legacy of the ancients. Good old legacy of the
Yeah.
ancients.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's sweet.
this is a good pick
All
though. These are
right.
games I would love to go back
Yeah.
and try for sure.
Well,
Does your
and-
avatar have Jankos too?
Yeah. Well, and the great thing is so there was a fourth in the series that was crowdfunded I don't know, 10 years or something ago. It's a fantastic game, Barrows Deep, but as part of the crowdfunding, there was a stretch goal which was reached, which was to remaster the original 3, and it was released as one game. I think the list price on Steam is like $15,
right.
and it gets you all 3. And it regularly goes on sale for $5. So and definitely play the remaster. It does add all the creature comforts. Like, I'm too old to go do a graph paper, so having an auto map is perfect for me.
True.
Yeah.
Full-time job, graph papering.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty.
Dig it.
Good pick.
Thank you.
All right. My game of the year, also big shocker if you've been listening to me talk in this podcast for years. Surprise, surprise. I am going with, for the NES, Blaster Master.
Over
What?
Mario 2 though?
What?
Over Mario 2?
Never talked
Over
about
Mario. Dude, I don't have a Mario 2. All right. I made fucking Sophia out of an erector set. And it can
Yeah,
it
that
has
erector
kung
set of
fu
Mario.
action, man.
Kung Fu Grip.
Luigi can't do that. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I like Blaster Master. Just over Mario 2. I think we're gonna get hate mail. It's okay.
Hey, bring
No,
it. This is
I agree.
I never turned a Hot Wheel into a Mario character. But I
Yeah.
went out into the garage when I was 8, 9 years old and sawed
That's
apart a
water
stupid
Metros.
little McDonald's van.
By the
Put
way,
on-
this story is in one of our episodes. Just
Yeah,
FYI,
and I-
listeners.
made it into a little Sophia third, and I was so proud of myself. My mom was like, "What is that?" Like, you don't understand me.
Don't worry about it.
On the Nintendo games, you know.
Mom, you don't know me at all, do you, Mom?
I had this book, like the story as a book. It was
I still have that
Blaster Master,
too.
and I read it.
Oh.
I read this one when I was in.
Is that the Worlds of
in-
Power series of books?
Yes,
I think so. Yeah, I think I was in. I had to have been elementary school back
Yeah.
then. I had to have been. Then. And I got made fun of, but I love this book. It's a good story. It's a good story. Oh, I don't give a shit.
it is.
But
It's like
I would pick this
It-
over Mario 2 100 times differently. This game's great. This is a great game.
and somehow that story ended up being adopted to be canon for the rest of the series
Yep.
that they made. Like, it had Jason, it had Eve, it had Alex. And
Yeah, but
these characters make return visits in later franchises, later entries in the series. And the Blaster Master Zero trilogy ended up smashing what was Metafight and what was Blaster Master into one universe and make it like a sort of fan fiction recreation of all of it together, which
That's
I
right.
absolutely loved.
That's where the one where the tank becomes a waifu, right? That's what I remember from that. series.
Yeah, it's the anime tropes in the game.
Which fan fiction are you reading, bud?
Hey, I didn't make this game. You talked to
That's a
Indie
sexy
Creates, but
tank.
they got horny with the tank.
That's a hot take.
It's a pretty good
I
game,
do
though.
agree with you
Baller.
on that. I think that was unnecessary, but I love the gameplay in this franchise. Like
For sure, yeah.
Blaster Master 1,
Kid-
you're
Wii
jumping
Fu
around
tank.
in a tank, blasting the crap out of things, and then you get out and go inside. Now you're doing a top down, shoot 'em up, and it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. You find upgrades for your tank, you find special weapons to like homing missile things and thunder break them and all that. Like it is a lot of fun. And then Blaster Master 2 came around for the Genesis, and it was such a disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They took everything good about Blaster Master and threw it out the window and like, yeah, you're still a tank.
It's you got tanks.
Yeah, be a tank. Yeah. Hey,
Be,
guy.
be a tank guy,
Be a
yeah?
tank. Yeah.
Okay, get the
You
tank.
got, you got this right, tank?
Why you
That's why
crying?
people
Got a
played this.
tank.
It was a
Get the
tank.
tank.
That'll do it. No, that
No,
didn't
Give
do
her
but-
a
it.
sexy tank. She's a sexy tank.
I have to call out. So two games tonight have. So my neighbors had an NES. I didn't have an NES growing up. I had to go places for an NES, and my neighbors had an NES, and I specifically remember playing Bubble Bobble couch co-op with them, and I also remember watching him play Blaster Master.
Yep.
And I remember specifically, like, the tank flips up and you jump out, right? I mean, that
Yeah.
is
Yep.
seared into my brain.
Yeah, and
so,
like
yeah.
the animations were all really smooth. And
Yeah.
like unless you're talking about the enemies, because the enemies were just like black and white sprites with no
Yeah.
animation unless they flapped wings or something, at least when you were
Just
in the
floating.
tank. But
Yeah,
that
but
tank
the
is like
tank
the
is
smoothest
cool.
animation in the
Yeah.
world.
Well, you
With
were,
the
you were a
wheels
tank.
and it
You were a
there's
tank.
actually there's support when it falls to the ground. It
Yeah.
actually like you see the
Yeah, it
supports hanging on it.
bounces and everything. Like
Yeah.
they,
Well, and
they
it
went
has
all
suspension
in.
it has suspension that jogs as it
That's yeah, I was
drives.
saying. And it has Metroids. It has Metroids in it. There's Metroids in the water. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
Metroid
Well, this is-
jellyfish on level
This
1.
is kind of like, I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a Metroidvania, but it definitely has some backtracking and exploration to it. That's really cool. I really dig the exploration side of this because the environments are pretty varied in terms of where you're going and whatnot. Different colors,
Yeah,
different shaped
and-
blocks, sprites. It's really good.
Now, is this
Almost all the music in this game is really good.
the game with the notoriously bad box art?
No, it's got
no,
it's
it's
got like
okay.
it looks like Predator on the front of it, right? It's got the two-legged thing.
You tell me.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
it's the weird monster thing. I'm like,
That's the plutonium boss.
Yeah, that's lore
Yeah.
accurate. That's what
Well,
it looks like.
That
course
is
it's
lore accurate.
Of course, it's the plutonium boss.
Yeah.
The plutonium, but just a fucking
What else are
tank.
they
Get
gonna
a
put on there? Are
tank.
they gonna put a sexy
It's
tank on
waste
the cover? They're not gonna
management.
do that.
Yeah.
You can waifu this up. Nintendo seal of quality.
Waste management.
Uh,
Waste management. Get out of here.
yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
this
like
this is stellar. This is a stellar. Pick.
every
This was a lot of fun.
every stage in this game feels unique. You start with just
Yeah.
like that underground that just feels like you're out in the mountains. And then, you're all of a sudden you're in a castle for stage 2. Stage 3 is like this underground laboratory. Stage 4 is straight up just sewers. And the
Well,
music feels like it.
I mean, these all make sense.
Can you imagine
Stage
how
5
different
was
medieval warfare would be if they started branding the cavalry inside of fucking castles, right? Just
Right.
bringing a tank into a castle. Just who the bad guy designs this nasty villain layer, and the guy is busting
And
with
just
a
some
tank.
guy drives a tank into it.
Well, the best thing is it's big enough to fit a tank. It's like you
Yeah.
don't even fill the room with said
Yeah.
tank.
Yeah,
Who's your
the tank
architect,
just
man?
drives
This
and
place
jumps
is huge.
around that castle.
Yeah.
I'd have a kitchen half that size. I'd be good.
Yeah.
I need a jumping tank. That's what I need.
Yeah, there's got to be
Yeah.
room for my tank to jump, please.
Yeah.
And I don't mean ramps. I mean just straight
Yeah.
up and down.
Look
No,
at these 50-foot ceilings. You can fit
I
tanks through these
remember-
ceilings.
I remember watching my neighbor. I sat there and watched him play this game, and I loved it. I am crap at this game, but I loved watching it.
Yeah,
Same. Yeah.
I'm awful.
I've never beaten it. Not once. Not even close. But I do like it.
This-
It's fun to play.
I was
this
so
game-
proud when I'd finish a boss and I'd be like, "Hey, that's it."
This
That's as
game,
far as we-
this entire game is an 8-2 for me.
That's fair.
There's
Yeah.
there's sort of a choke
Lot of
point in this
callbacks.
game for me, whether I know I'm gonna have a good run or not.
Mm.
So I'm going. If I can beat the boss of 5-2, if I can get to, not 5-2, but area 5. If I can get to the boss of area 5 with a bunch of gun upgrades, I'm good. If somewhere along stage 5 I lose those gun upgrades, I may as well reset. Like the game's just not gonna happen.
Like Battletoads.
It's a
That
Bard's Tale
lobster
situation. If you
is
don't make level
just
5, you just re-roll.
Hell.
Just
Yeah.
walk away from your tank. Just walk away from your tank.
Walk away from your tank.
If
Give up.
you can't make it past the first 5 stages with your tank, just walk away and start over.
Wait
Start
a minute. There's a lobster in this game,
I
and
believe
yet
there's
the picture
than
on
one.
the box you called a plutonium boss, that looks like a lobster to me.
That's not a lobster.
No.
Looks
like
like
a pair
a
of testicles.
looks like a mutated pit bull is
You
what it looks
kidding?
like.
This
Yeah.
thing has like the beefiest legs.
Yeah, that thing did not not skip leg day.
Yeah,
It-
you're not wrong. It does look like a weird beefy pit bull with just 2 legs and an exposed.
That's what I'm
brain.
saying. Yeah, thank you.
I never
I
thought
remember
of
what
that.
it looks like. I'm there.
But yeah, the bosses of this game, they're all like frogs and lobsters, and
Get your
except
pet
for
frog
the
in
first stage was Mother Brain.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. There
but
was
not-
definitely
but not
sort of
the-
this
like,
but not the mother brain.
mass with tendrils coming out of it and weird circle things flying around it to smack you.
But
A lot
not
of
It
the
should have been a
Biolog
mind
horror.
flayer.
Yeah.
Mother brain.
But yeah, this is a game that, it just struck a chord for me, and I've been in love with it ever since. When I got it for Christmas, I was just all of a sudden, and it's
Yeah.
never been one I get tired of.
No,
Yeah.
I loved watching it played through as a kid.
Yeah, this is one where I would like to see them try to have done a 3D version of this, but I don't think it could ever work, right? I think
They did.
really like a third person or first person inside the tank Blaster Master?
It's third person, but there's a Blaster Master blasting again for the PlayStation.
Blasting
uh,
again.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the
And
wonderful name.
you're driving around in 3D, and it for the time, it was a $20 game in 2000. Like at release, it was a
Okay.
$20 game. So it was not a big budget game.
Okay.
But
Blaster
for a $20
Master
game on the
blasts again.
PlayStation that was as cheesy as it was actually pretty decent.
I might have to check that one out. That might be a hidden gem. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
It's not a hidden
Go ahead, put
gem,
that
but
on
it's
the- yeah, put
also
that on the wheel.
not garbage. It's
Throw that up on the wheel.
it's it's better than Charlie, okay?
I don't know. That's a pretty
Well,
high
he
bar.
will enjoy it.
Yeah.
You will enjoy
yeah.
it then. It's better than Charlie.
Is
It
there
ain't
36
no
guys I got to deal with in this one.
yeah. It ain't no Dragon's Lair nest, I'm telling you.
No.
so few are.
But yeah, my love of Blaster Master actually got me to buy Half Genie Hero
There you go.
because and in the 1980 okay, I know, just give me a second. Shantae Half Genie Hero. There is actually a transformation in that where Shantae can turn into Sophia and zoom around and shoot up and everything. And I really wanted to get far enough to play that. But I just really don't like Shantae games. I think I've settled on. Like,
Thank
that
you,
was
you
a
too.
waste of my money.
We should talk
Man.
about him because Half Genie Hero is one of my favorite ones, and it's the least Metroidvania out of the entire franchise. I love those games, but Half Genie Hero got me really on board because of all the crazy cameo stuff and all the different add-ons and DLCs and stuff. I'm sad you don't like that game. That game is pretty rad for me. But there's also for Blaster Master Zero, one of them has the cameo characters. I think one of them had Shovel Knight, and another one had Shantae, and a few
The
other
first
ones.
one.
So, first one, yeah. So I know they did a lot of indie crossovers back in that day. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good
and
game
Playing,
for sure.
playing as Shantae in Blaster Master Zero was pretty cool.
Does she
Playing
get tanked?
Shantae in a Shantae game is so disappointing.
Look, man, she's got magical transformation spells. She can turn into a freaking elephant. She dances. This
How do you
guy
make
can't
an action
dance.
platformer that's that
So-
pretty,
I was
that
gonna
boring?
say,
So you're saying it's Super Mario Wonder?
I was gonna say if you give me a big enough meal and a nice beat, I can also turn into an elephant and dance. So not seems very magical when you think about it.
I don't know. Half Genie Hero's pretty good. I think you guys are missing out.
Yeah, I have a spell too.
You transform this red cup to be empty. Yeah, that's quite a trick.
All right. Hopefully this will be the last time I talk about Blaster Master for a long time.
Oh,
I don't think so.
You know, Wolf,
And
I'm
we don't
not
want
even,
you to.
I'm not even going to say that about Bard's Tale.
No.
If I could mention
Well,
Charlie at
it is-
least
it
twice a
came
month.
up in the 1989 episode, I'm pretty sure.
All right.
I
I'm gonna
gave
probably bring
myself
up
the
Elden
Half
Ring at
Genie
some
Hero
point
homework
during this discussion.
in the 1989 episode when listening back to it. I was like, oh shit, I forgot.
Nice.
I couldn't do it.
All right. Game of the
Right.
Year 88 for Wolf. Blaster, a master.
Yeah. All right, Jake, what do you got for us?
Well, it's no Blaster Master, but it's definitely got exploration. And I'm gonna make sure it's muted. I'm picking Legend of Zelda, which I mean, for me, when I first played this game, it was on a black and white TV. That's how old I am. And the first time I had a chance to play this one on a really tiny, like 12-inch, maybe smaller black and white TV, and I couldn't get enough of this game. There's just the sense of exploration in Zelda was so amazing. Like this, all the hidden stuff, all this hidden secrets, caves, and bombable walls. Some of them are frustrating, right? I mean, this is a game that brought, I mean, it started the franchise, but this is a game where you had multiple different items like candles, which you could use to burn bushes to find secrets and whatnot. So some of those secrets can be difficult to find, but I just loved trying to explore this world and try and find all the secrets. Did not hold your hand at all. Just one huge map of stuff to explore, and just going through the dungeons was such a treat. The music is still with me. I mean, there's not as much variety as later games, obviously, but the music that is there is pretty great. I always felt Zelda's combat was peak here. I mean, I love the franchise as a whole, but I can't love that franchise without first playing this and appreciating what we got with Legend of Zelda. So I'm surprised this was 86, or sorry, 88. I thought it was earlier. I didn't realize it was 88.
Wait, are we doing 86?
No, you guys got me talking about Charlie, and it's on the brain right now, and I can't shake it. So.
You know,
It's Legend of Charlie. But just the amount of
there's
variety of
medication
items and
for
stuff
that.
in this game was so good, right? Just I love Legend of Zelda. I don't know anybody who absolutely hates Zelda, or at least can't appreciate for what it did for later games. Because I mean, this is the start of a franchise, right? It's like hating the original Super Mario Brothers, right? Like nobody hates Mario Brothers. You may not be good at it, you may not care for it, but you got to appreciate what it is for the franchise. So for me, Game of the Year is got to be Legend of Zelda.
I think Sinistar hates Mario Brothers, but that's not.
I hate 8 too.
Yeah,
Which
just
is
one
fair.
part specifically.
Yeah.
No, I want to call out, like, there are two tropes in this game that every time I think about Zelda, like, I go into streams and if I see people playing Zelda games, I'm like, I always comment and say, get yourself down to 1 heart. I need that beep. I need that beep. Because the Zelda beep is it's insidious.
Yeah,
When
it's
the
awful.
It
beep
is-
turns on, it turns the music mono.
Yeah.
Like you can't
Yeah.
hear all the other
Yeah.
sounds because that beep is taking over all the
Yeah.
high pitched swells in the music.
And then the
It's
other
awful.
Yeah.
trope that I always think of in this game is you get to full health and your sword is being launched across the screen and you get hit and you're like, fuck, I had the fucking sword and now I don't.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's a
you
half
go
heart
from-
too.
You go from being like uber powerful with the flying magical sword to just fucking awful. Like,
Yep.
And like you need it because like the other items you have in this game, like you get the boomerang, which is next to useless. I find in these games.
Other than it pauses enemies.
And it
Yeah,
picks
but I
stuff up.
mean, you get good, you dodge enemies. That's not so bad. But I mean, like there's
That's my problem is I don't get good.
Fucking good.
the Chivo set for this game. There's a swordless run, which I've always wanted to
Yeah.
try because you can get a magic rod in this game fairly early, and that thing just cooks. Like it fries pretty much everything. But to get to it without a sword is pretty challenging. I always wanted to try that. But yeah, I dig this game. Like you even get upgrades to your sword, right? Like that's just a hint of the RPG stuff in this game, right? Where you're progressing, getting you get the rings, I think, that give you the change your color of your armor, so you take less damage. Just the magic sword, and then like when you beat it, there's a whole other freaking game. There's a whole other quest, right? Where everything's remixed and changed around and definitely harder. Just fantastic. Like I really do love this one. Like this is when I play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I get flashbacks to this game, right? In that it's that same sense of here's this wide open world, go nuts, go find stuff, and that kind of draws me to this game.
I have to make mention because Jeff asked a valid question. How is it on this
Is it
list?
valid?
when it was- and I just looked on Moby Games, Jake. I'm sorry. This
Oh,
game was released in 86.
Oh
What?
well, this was the '86 game he wanted to talk about so much.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh
Where'd
dear.
I get it from?
Oh dear.
Oh my
There you
gosh.
go, man.
Oh, Jake.
Oh,
Let me
dear.
see. Let me see. Let me see.
To be fair, Jake's been very busy at home. Zelda 2 is 88. Maybe that's what you meant to say. Let's talk
No,
about Zelda 2. Let's
no,
talk
I really
about
don't
Zelda
want
2.
to.
But Zelda 2 is a great game. It deserves to be your top pick.
No,
Jake,
It's
In
Link's
I'm sorry.
Adventure.
I'm sorry, Jake.
It's a great game. Zelda 2 is a great game. What are you talking about? That should definitely be on
I
the
mean
list.
it's a good game, but it's definitely not game of the year. Are you kidding
It's
me?
game of the year.
No,
Clearly game
there's
of the
no
year.
fucking
That's what
way.
you meant to talk about.
Is Zelda
totally
not in
meant to talk.
'88? Was it
No.
really released
Jake.
earlier?
Zelda 2
Oh
is.
wow.
We do have a gimme available.
Not the third game you're talking about. That doesn't count, does it?
It
What's
does.
the gimme? If it's not Zelda
Oh.
2, then it shouldn't be game of the year.
You know what? It came out in Italy in '88, Jake.
Fine.
There
You
you
know
go,
what?
88.
It's Italy's 1988 game. It's Super Mario Brothers 3. My game of the year, guys. I'm wrong. It's Super Mario Brothers 3.
We don't have video for that though.
I don't have a video for that one, but just picture in your mind's eye America's delightful Fred Savage and his young kid brother as they embark on a cross-country journey, and it ends with playing this fantastic game called Super Mario Brothers 3. There's a raccoon guy tail in it, guys.
Raccoon guy.
It's a really great guy. So I didn't want to pick Super Mario Brothers 3 because didn't this come out here in '89? And we kind of missed that with the Taylor Swift episode.
So it came out in North America in '89, but only on PlayChoice 10 arcade machines.
Okay.
It didn't actually come.
Which we all had.
It
We all
didn't
had
actually hit NES in North America until 1990, but it released in October '88
Yeah.
in Japan.
Perfect. That
And
works.
In
remember,
Japan.
we're
Okay.
going by the Moby game listed release date.
Yeah, clearly.
When
I
we
didn't
read
look at
the
that list
entire
clearly
title
enough.
of the game,
I'm going to
Jake,
blame
you need to read the
Wikipedia for
entire
this one.
title.
Jake,
The
I'm
whole
so
title.
sorry. I felt bad calling that out.
This is the Mario 64 all over again. Getting fact checked.
Thank you,
You
Jeff.
guys said there'd be no fact checking.
Mario 3 is the better Mario anyways. There be no fact checking.
Look, I love Mario
Brothers
Brothers 3.
If
I
we're
do
not
love
just gonna
Mario
have
Brothers
a
3.
conversation.
Like when we were talking offline about Mario Brothers 3, I was upset that we didn't do it on the proper year episode because it's one of my favorite games. And I've argued before on this podcast, I like it way more than Mario World. And we didn't do it on one of these Game of the Year episodes. I think I wasn't there for that one. So I'm happy to have it here in '88 on a technicality, but I still
Well,
feel bad.
We all know
A
Jake's
2-year
game of the year
technicality.
for '86.
Yeah. Not
Well,
Circus
no, because
Charlie.
there's other shit that came out in '86. Now I got to think about this.
Not Circus
Up
Charlie.
is down, left is right. My world's been turned upside down.
Oh,
Fuck you,
you're on
Moby
the
Games.
stairs. You're on the stairs in King's Quest 4.
Mario Brothers 3. We'll add that to the
I
spreadsheet.
can't
Your
wait
turn.
to hear the audio edit of this, so he just completely deletes all of the Zelda. It just
Fix
goes
it,
right
fix it
into
in post.
Mario 3.
I'll move it to the end after the credits, okay? After the
Oh,
ending
shit.
intro. Motherfucker.
Jake. I'm
Mario 3
sorry.
is the
This is
better-
why we
better
pre-record
Mario.
these guys. We don't do these live for a reason. That's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Just so you know, this is all pre-recorded tonight.
But at the same time, this is good content right here.
Yeah, this is gold.
This will be
I
on
should've-
the
This is
Patreon later.
Triforce gold, my friend.
I should have stole Chart's pick. That's what I should have done. Is I should have taken Chart's
Again?
pick.
This is the only one where
Again.
I've made it through all of my picks and no one's taking them.
Oh
And
my
I didn't
God.
have to pivot. And I'm the last one too to go.
Jeff, you did good. You did good.
Jeff, you
Oh, Jeff, you're fine. You're
I can't
fine,
hate you
dude.
for
This
being
is-
right,
No, this
but-
is gold. This is
It's
gold.
great. Fucking
All right, so
fact-checking
Super
on the
Mario
podcast.
Brothers
Who does
3.
this?
Super Mario 3 Game of the Year for 1988 for Jake's pick. Clearly the first thing he decided on. For the first one that he did the research for.
I'm
Mario
so glad,
for three.
guys, that I didn't put Zelda in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
then it would be really awkward.
Perfect.
Okay, I have to call out. I appreciate what Mario 3 did for games, but oh my fuck, the ships just piss me off.
Ships
They're
are great.
fun.
Just piss
Yeah.
me off.
Great.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're good.
I don't-
You
Everybody
just don't
loves.
like auto
Everybody
scrollers.
loves an auto scroller. Everybody loves an auto scroller.
I don't
Especially on a
hate
ship.
the ships. I understand their purpose. They add a little challenge. There's auto scrollers that are other levels in the game that aren't the ship, so it's fair.
Right.
What I hate is those stupid hands in World 8 that just pop up out of the ground and
Yeah.
suck you into the stage. Not guaranteed, but guaranteed
Yes.
enough to piss you off.
Yeah.
If you get the hand more than 3 times, you might as well just re-roll your character and start over. That's how.
Yeah.
It works. Yeah.
Just walk away from
reset
Mario
and
3.
whistle.
Walk away.
So you're saying this is a horrible hand job
Oh,
Wow.
wow. From a sexy tank.
from a sexy tank?
There is a tank in that level, is there not? Is there a tank
There
level?
is,
There
yeah, but
is.
it's not nearly as
Yeah.
sexy enough to be a waifu.
No,
it's
it's
just
not. It's very blocky, kind of woody.
yeah, it's kind of woody. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
If someone can make tanks out of log cabins, let Bowser do it. Dude's throwing wrenches at you. Clearly not the mechanic.
Mario 3 once again changed up how the franchise worked.
Oh, sure.
Like
Yeah.
they just Mario 1, they were like, all right, when they made Mario 2 in Japan, they're like, all right, more of the same, just harder and worse. And I don't mean worse like in a bad way, but worse like just everything was meaner to the player, right?
You know, they went troll mode. They went troll mode.
Yeah,
sure.
pretty much.
And it's
but
hard
then
to play
Mario
that game in
2
a sitting. Like
Mario
there's
2
a
was
lot of length to that.
well, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm interrupting you. Go for it.
I was gonna say Mario 2 USA just completely changed it all up and was like wackiness everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you go into Mario 3 and it's like wackiness everywhere again because you have no idea what this world is and it might be a play and
Yeah. Well,
It's a lot.
it introduced selection. Like you could
Yeah.
you could pick what levels you went to a degree, right? I mean,
yeah.
it
It-
introduced like castle bosses, like hitting the Koopa kids 3 times or whatever. Like that was introduced here, right? I mean,
Carrying a spare item with you.
yeah.
Killer music.
Like there's a
Or
lot
the
of
suits. The
standards.
suits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
there's a
some
lot of
power-ups you
standards
only
that
get
Mario
once,
3.
which is wild for a game like this. There's like power-ups you can only get once, maybe twice, like the Tanuki suit. I mean, like
Yeah.
who does
Yeah.
that? You put all that work into coding a power-up, you may never ever see in the game. Like that's pretty
Right.
wild.
Yeah, the first time I saw the
P-Wings.
Hammer Brothers suit, I was like, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are those?
Yeah.
No, those are that Mario 3 is a great game. I am saddened to not see some attrition from 2 to 3, like where they were just like 2 is its own thing. But you don't see any of like the characters transfer over. It
Yeah.
literally just goes kind of back. It's a better looking, longer with more, this sounds like a dating ad, but I mean it's just it's just that it had some nice flair to it, better music, longer levels, and cool bosses and stuff. But I feel like they should have brought something back from 2, like the Shy Guys or the Sniffets or something
Well,
back.
I think 2 and 3 were developed really close together in timeline.
Yeah,
probably
the
were.
initial release of 2 was
Yeah.
a month before 3.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it was 2 teams. So I that's probably why they didn't pull things over from 2, is
Mhm.
because it was a different team that was, they were coding simultaneously.
Well, like,
Right.
but the 2 was not meant for the Japanese audience. It was meant for the North American audience, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, eventually it came over to Japan as, Super Mario Brothers 2 USA version, but it was not really meant for that audience. That's why it makes sense that there's no overlap, I guess. But they
Yeah.
kind of make good on that later on as they bring some stuff to crossover, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great game. I think Mario 3 is my favorite out of the series. I think this is a great number 1 pick, Jake. I think it was a fantastic decision to only
I
pick
can
this
pick 'em.
game as number 1 in
Yeah.
1988.
Yeah.
Thank you to
yeah.
Moby Games for giving me that loophole to pull out this game in the wrong year, but that's okay.
With no video.
Fucking 86. Oh. This is going to
All
haunt
right.
me now. Okay.
That's
It will. And we won't let it die because that's
No,
what
I
friends
know
do.
you won't. This will be my hidden gem GP moment for the next 2 years. It's okay.
GP's cleared. He's cleared of
Yeah.
all charges.
Hey,
Somebody let him
Jake.
know.
Hey, Jake, have you tried tunnels?
Have you tried Tom?
I love tunnels, inside and outside. Yeah.
Inside and outside, yeah.
All right.
It's
Well,
it's a unique experience when you're in a tunnel or out of a tunnel.
I'll argue that my next pick is going to topple over everyone's picks because
You gonna
we
bring
saved
us
the
home
best
with a
for
great
last.
time?
I think so. I think we are. Guys, let's go back. Let's go back to 1988. Let's go back to Bel Air shopping centers. Let's go back to the rental movie area. Let's go back to Chard staring at a box, the man in a blue helmet, blue spandex, shooting his
pistol
gun,
in his
not his
hand.
9 miller. It's a pistol. It's a pistol shooting what appears to be a man dodging with a
Jeff's
boomerang
got
on
it
his
already.
head.
Jeff called it already.
Let's talk sex vixens from space. No, I kid.
The true
We're
classic.
going to talk about true classic. I get 2 games to pick my game of the year, right, Jake? Is that how that works? Speaking of 2, no, we're picking Mega Man 2. That's right. You find yourself in the opening title screen as the music kicks in and it scrolls up and you see a man standing on top of that building with his hair blowing in the wind. That is Mega Man. That is the Blue Bomber. This is arguably the greatest Mega Man to hit the screen. Could be. There are a lot of people that would argue differently, but this fucking game ruled my life as a child. This was the first Mega Man I ever played because I couldn't get my hands on one. There was a lot of quality of life improvements on this. Like when you do the boss rush at the end, you actually get life at the end of each fight instead of fuck you, keep going, like they did in the first one. The stages were fun. The music. There's not a better Mega Man soundtrack out there. I don't think. I would argue that this is easily by far my favorite soundtracks, to the point that there are people out there that have made some fantastic remixes and remakes and orchestrated versions of the Mega Man music. You'll be humming it along. This is such a great game that I feel like this was 1988 for me. You're wrong, Jeff. This is probably the strongest selection out of all the Mega Mans. 3 is not better, 4 is better, but 2 is better than both because it was 1988 when this came out. So this is great. Airman, fucking Quick Man, Flash Man, all those men's. The dragon that you had to fight boomerangs on the Wily stages. The alien. Let's have fun. Bubble lead, worst weapon ever, used on the last boss. Thanks a lot. There's your rock, paper, scissors. Mega Man 2, hands down, strongest. It doesn't have the charge up. It didn't have the slide yet. Just had your basic Mega Man action. Don't care. Didn't need it. This was fantastic.
Nothing like hot Mega Man action.
Hot Mega Man action. Nothing better. I love this soundtrack. Like I cannot talk enough about how amazing this soundtrack is by itself.
You could argue that this is the best soundtrack on the NES, honestly. Like Wily's Castle alone is my go-to. Whenever it says NES sound, Wily's Castle, Mega Man 2, every single time. There's no doubt about it. It's my favorite track in the entire console. And yeah, like as much as I like 3, I love Mega Man 3 a lot. I might like it more gameplay wise, but music wise, hands down, Mega Man 2 for sure.
This is what brought Mega Man, I think, into light. Mega Man 1 just felt like such an underachieving game that they needed to make it better, and they did with 2, and then it carried itself into 3, 4, 5, all the other ones that we like beyond this point. But 2 is the pinnacle of Mega Man universe. If you want,
Mega Man 1 is a dick punch. Mega Man 2 is a Hawk Tua. Put
it is a Hawk Tua. Mega Man Hawk 2.
Yeah,
this is a great game.
Wow.
Great game.
Yeah, wow. I mean,
It's
we've
even got
talked
sexy
about
tanks and everything.
We've talked about bad hand jobs, so might as well.
I mean, no, this is cool. Woodman's track is sick. God, they're all good. I love this. I'm going to listen to this album when we're done.
And like this is before the Robot Masters got stupid. And I'm saying that after you just said Woodman. But like, you can tell in Mega Man like 5 and 6, like they're running out of ideas for what the hell to use for the names of these things. But like these are the classics.
It's like Cheddar Man and like, Pebble Man and
Yamamoto Man.
Shoe Leather Man. Yeah.
Shoe Leather Man.
Yeah.
Off-color tiled man.
I love this.
Pool cleaning
like,
man.
The power-ups are all good, right? Like is this the one with what does this have? Oh, it had the Air Buster, the Leaf Shield, which I think is okay, that's kind of stupid. I still like it. I still like it though.
But there was always a shield like in every one beyond one.
Yeah.
You always had some kind of shield. No, the bubble lead was the fucking worst, or bubble lead, or whatever you want to refer
However you
to
want
it
to say
as.
it,
But
yeah.
it's definitely worse. But it had that really cool Flashman stage that we're seeing on the video right now. That if you could speed run that, you can get through there without using the flash time,
Good
which I'm
God.
very proud to
Yeah.
say that I've achieved. But this game is great, and I know everybody. I know Jeff's screaming out Pepsi Man. There you go, Wolf. I know that people are like, well, it had no rush and no slide, but that was before that. It's not like they had it and took it out. This was before you had all that shit. That's what makes this fucking cool, was that it was still fun without all that stuff. And they were like, hey, let's add this into later versions. And you're like, yo, that's a cool addition. I still like 2, Dr. Pepperman.
Yeah, 2 had the items that were what would become Rush.
Right.
So they just personified the power-ups that he was already getting.
Yeah, no, this is easily my game of 1988. When I looked through the list and this was on there, I was like, there's nothing gonna beat this. Maybe Zelda. Oh wait, that was 86. But
Yeah. It's a hidden fucking gem. Fine. I do
Yeah,
like
so
this game a lot. When you pick this one, because I saw you guys do your picks first, and I'm like, shit, I was gonna pick Mega Man 2 because I love Mega Man 2. It's definitely one of my favorite games, and I played it. I beaten it a couple years ago, I think, for the first time in since I was a kid, and that was like an amazing achievement for me. Like the sense of satisfaction beating this one was like a high I just had not had in a while. Like that was Elden Ring level high for me to beat this game again.
hell yeah.
So
Yep.
I do love this one.
Nice. Good pick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
This
so
was probably my first Mega Man game.
So Chard's game of the year 1988 is Legend of Zelda.
It is 1, not 2.
Jake, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
The Legend of
eventually.
Zelda Rock's Adventure.
Listen, maybe Legend of Zelda was released in, I don't know, Taiwan in 1988. You don't know. We
Well,
don't know.
Italy.
Antarctica
We
got
said-
it late.
we said Italy.
Greenland's
Maybe
favorite
our-
game of 88.
Maybe our Zimbabwe listeners will be able to correct that for us.
Yeah, that's true. When did they get this game? 2005? Like,
Would
we're
you
doing them a
guys get
disservice by not, honoring their memory.
Their memories are not gone.
They're still
Wow.
around.
Wow.
Wow. Well, they're
This
gone
episode's
now.
never going to air, I'm sorry to say.
We loved
going in
you,
the vault.
Zimbabwe. We loved you.
This is gold. This is amazing.
Fuck. Why did I pick
God.
Zelda? Was it Wiki?
How dare you trust Wiki? It's on the internet. It has to be true.
I read it on Reddit. It was on Reddit.
I swear to God, why did I
Probably
pick
on
Zelda? Maybe I saw Zelda too. Maybe. I don't
Listen,
know.
from far away, the covers look similar. All right, I'll give you that. So maybe you saw the little icon and you just saw Zelda. And you were like, "Yeah, boop, that's it. I got to go back to fixing the leak in my house."
I
Which,
could have
to be
picked
fair, you've been
Contra.
very busy this week.
Yeah.
I
Fine.
have been. I could have picked Dragon Warrior 3. I could have
That's
picked,
a good one. Dragon
That's a
Warrior
good
3 is
one.
a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Battle Chess.
Oh, Battle Chess.
There's so
Hell
many
yeah.
games I could have picked.
I mean, Sex
That's
Vixens
okay.
from Space is still out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's an episode.
I think that's Jeff's game of the year.
That might be Jeff's game of the year.
You
Uh,
could've
For
picked
those
Fish.
that wonder why we keep talking to Jeff, if you're listening to this and you don't know about us on YouTube, we live stream on YouTube, and we do respond sometimes to chat. And Jeff is
Rarely.
chatting with us.
But Jeff has got some good. He's got some good jabs in here. Yeah.
You can only fact check once an episode. Just that's the rule
Yeah.
now. That's
Now you
that's
pulled
the
your
rule.
card. Like phoning a friend.
Phone in a friend. Yeah, phone in a fact check.
I think
Let's check Open Critic and see what Mario 64 got us this time.
Hey. Ooh.
Oh wait.
Okay, I guess it counts, but technically Bubble Bobble was also 1986.
Sweet. Oh, it's a runner-up. That's fine. It was mine was on Moby
It
Games.
came out
I
on
saw it
Master
Moby Games.
System in 88.
There you go.
And that's the
So it was
version
on
we all
Master
remember and love.
That's exactly the one I was talking about. Was the Master System version.
Moby Games fucks us again.
To be fair, I was looking at it at work. Okay, I was very busy. I saw the name and went, "Oh, I can talk about that one." No. We could both
Hey,
be wrong. Dude.
you know,
And
the
the
rules,
NES
the
was
rules-
87.
At least it was my
so,
game of the
wow.
year.
Look,
Lisa.
the rules are made
I
up and the
played it
points
at
don't
88.
matter. The rules are made
Yeah.
up and the points don't matter.
Fair. We just
I'm-
can't use Bubble Bobble again in another episode.
No, I'm
That's
going
how
to
it
for
works.
87. That's my game of the year for 1987. Forget the
It's
Master
at
System
least-
version. I'm done
I'm
talking about that
playing
sweet,
the
sweet NES
Nintendo
version.
which is the original.
The original was arcade.
I'm gonna pick Zelda in '86, so you can pick Circus Charlie.
Join us next week when we talk about the best games of 1988 for real this time.
This was a trial run.
Yeah.
I love this at the top of the Moby Games page. I'm seeing an ad that says play like it's 1986. How did they know?
You can see why I
Is
make
this
these
a 1986
mistakes.
episode?
Yeah,
We
we'll
should
just
just put
rebrand it.
1988/1986 on the title.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Best of both fucking worlds.
That's it. Next time we're
Wow.
going the other direction. We're going back to the 90s. Fuck the 80s. I think we're done with the 80s.
There we go.
Let's go the other way for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Till this is forgotten.
So we can get those wrong. Perfect.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This episode's pretty much pure gold.
No, this is
This
this is our
good,
best work yet.
Awesome.
Well, to those of you who listen through the nonsense, we appreciate you.
Yep.
And I hope you guys had as much fun as we did.
And thank
Yes.
you, Zimbabwe.
Thank you, Zimbabwe.
Yes.
You're
We
still
love
out.
you,
If you're still out there.
Zimbabwe. Yeah.
All right. This has been another episode of Press B to Cancel. You can find us at pressbtocancel.com or pressb.org. Hopefully the episode doesn't just end right there. You can also check us out on our Discord. You can find the link to that on our website. Come let us know what we missed or if we made another mistake that we somehow didn't catch.
And
how about Yep.
like and subscribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or do
We
one
do
of them
only
at
our
least,
best
please.
fact checking during the night of.
We will see you again next week.